Welcome all to the 2026 Thunderbird Cups. All the best in the Midwest Championship right here in Lamont, Illinois. We have an exciting match for you, but first, your commentators, my name is Lance Kavanaugh. I'll be taking you play-by-play with Angela Smarto. Smarto, this is going to be an exciting match. Tell us what we should look forward to.
Yeah, this is going to be old school smash mouth rugby. Welcome to the Midwest, Lance. I know you're a Southern boy, but this is going to be very physical. Everybody's going to be running it up straight up the middle, and it's going to be a battle of the forwards for sure. And whoever can outlast will certainly be the one taking home the win.
Now, this match between Minnesota U23's women's and Wisconsin U23 women, expect to see some of that regional rivalry that we expect here in the Midwest as we get an opportunity to go over some of these rosters. Smarto, very excited for this match. And I need to let you know, I am not a Southern boy. Born and raised in Ohio. This right here means so much to me as now Minnesota sets their course with Hill Young and Dev Villar in the front row. Ganfield Jordan taking your second row. Provas, Marlowe, and Sizchek taking your back row. It's going to be a lot of work for that forward pack. And for your backs here from Minnesota, Jimenez playing that 9 spike, delivering in time. Smith at the left wing. Jurczyk and Bieber holding down the center spots. Lahanen and Pettis rounding out your back three. And I'm expecting some fireworks and speed on the outside. Wisconsin's up next. Smarto, run us through it.
Yeah, this is going to be the best out of the best for Wisconsin. They had over 80 players try out. So we've got Bean, George, and Santi in the front row. Watch out for Liv George. She's a D2 All-American. Then Tarada, Spadoni, Rosala Harms, and Becca Carroll taking it to the 8. And that's going to lead us to our backs, starting with the captain is Hannah Tim, who's playing for the Amazons. Down, kicking it to Saffert, Stanowski, Jerebeck, Lawrence, Parent, and down to the currently at-large but former All-American national champion Cirrus Ridd from Eau Claire. So there's a lot of familiarity on both sides. These teams play against each other in their colleges and senior clubs. So it's going to be really fun to see some different matchups than what they're used to.
Yeah, and both sides able to have a little touch and a little bit of some WER players sprinkled in there. The Avalar, the prop for Minnesota, as well as the fullback Pettis are both WER players, and that stands so much for them, as well as on the opposite side, being the prop, we might see a Devilar and Bean collision throughout most of this matchup, along with the captain for Wisconsin, Tim, WER player, sprinkled in there just innocently enough, but we're going to see what impact they can have on this game, especially since most of these women live in the college and club realm, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. So, and, most of the information we have, thanks to our coaches and staff who provided all the information that we have, they're going from their local colleges and they're moving, to the Twin Cities or possibly into Madison to continue their careers. So this is U23, so it is mostly college, but there are some adults who are either recent grads or also not everybody goes to college and you're still age eligible. So everybody's kind of in that window, 18 to just about 23. But the IQ is going to be high. They've picked out the best and the best from both states. So you're going to have some young guns, some kids who's never been here before, playing against some people. This might be the last year they're eligible for this age bracket,
Yeah, make that lasting impact while you can. Minnesota seems to be in the purple. Let me make sure I get a double check. Yeah, Minnesota will be in the purple. Wisconsin are in the blue going right to left. We are underway here at the Thunderbird Cup. As physicality happens, and we have an early turnover. Wisconsin getting hands on the ball, but unfortunately kicked out of the ruck. Now Minnesota's back on attack. Ball bobbled just a bit, and a strong collision right around midfield. As now Minnesota sets themselves up to go, but just can't get a clean grasp of the ball.
Hit the hands first.
And unfortunately, Jordan couldn't get a hold of it. Now we have our first scrum in this Thunderbird Cup.
Yeah, big hits right out of the gate. They're too excited. We're not even a minute in and said, nah, we got to scrum. We got to pack down right now. I'm really excited with the intensity that they're bringing off kickoff. Little jittery, some handling errors, but this is a good start to this game.
Set.
Now we have our first one of this matchup. Referee says hold your ground, and now the ball is out the back. Throwing across and just unable to find clean pass out in front. As now Wisconsin gets pushed back just a bit. Back on attack, ball played out, and the line speed closing the space. No gain line met there. Bobble backwards, and that line speed again, taking that space, giving up off of the ball handling. And now we see a bit of a slowdown, picking their sides. Ball is played in the offload on the way down, able to keep possession and leg drive, not allowing one player to bring her down. Now the ball is played out wider. Do they get it to the edge? One pass, two. A strong line met by a double tackle. Offload option was there, but choosing to keep control of the ball. And now we're starting to see it speed up a little bit as the ball is getting played sideline to sideline. Rucks are resourced beautifully. Now we have an advantage going around the corner, stopping just before the touchline, able to get the offload away. Still saying penalty advantage, says the referee. Long line across, pulling defenders forward. Leg drive, able to get past the gain line. That one-handed left pass just not going to hand as well as we would like. But high tackle, previously called advantage earlier. Now we'll have our first break and our first penalty of the game here, Smarto.
Yeah, playing that advantage, that's the captain, Hannah Tim, playing 9, knew that they had a little bit of free play, so that pass didn't really have the juice, but they knew that they had, they could play a little freely, knowing that they had the ball, but we have our first medical stoppage. We have the trainer coming on to check out number 10, Savannah Saffert, out of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. It's a D3 college.
Just a small blow. If they practice and work for a while with one player, and before we can get 3 minutes into this matchup, that player might go down. Looks like everyone's a little cautious. Hannah Tim, the 9, speeding up the game a little bit. Played a few forward hit-ups, and when the time was right to spread the ball, it was a great opportunity to get to the space. It looks like we're going to be playing with a bit of tempo here, Smarto. Both teams, we haven't really seen Minnesota get an opportunity to really attack the way we would like, but both teams seem to be primed and ready to go for this matchup.
Blue captain.
Yeah, Wisconsin, really you could see, all right, we have Saffert coming off, so we'll have a sub. We'll see if we can catch who this sub is coming on, but both teams, you can see, are being really physical, and that's putting a lot of pressure on Minnesota defensively because tight 5 forwards are taking ball in hand, and they're attack threats. But now let's see how their cover D works.
Penalty didn't go out of bounds, so now the ball is going back the other way as Purple pushes forward. Minnesota leg drive on the offload, able to get a little bit more meterage, and these rucks are so well resourced, no opportunity for the poach. And now we're seeing big chunks of meters gained here, just off forward pod. Big collision, heel, unable to push forward, but continues. The ball is now played outside. Dummy did not work as Yorchek spins around, gets the offload away to Tom. And ball is resourced fine. See Emily Terada getting caught up on the wrong side of that ruck. Hands up, indicate the referee there's no issue here. Ball played out again. And Minnesota chooses to go forward, and we might have a steal opportunity. Referee said that's good, and now we have our first poach of the day. Great turnover. Get a chance to give you that name and number, we will, but now the attack is going right back. And unfortunately couldn't keep possession of offload, wayward. But that's still, we're going to go back to that knock on. But what an amazing steal there to get the ball back. Just couldn't finish on the back end there, Smarto.
Yeah, it's great to be doing that work to get that jackal, get that turnover. Looks like that's going to be number 3, Ella Santi out of Michigan Tech. It's a school way, way up north. She's a Youper, so you know that she is tough. So, and they won their first scrum, so let's see if they can steal.
Set.
Ball played into the ruck lane. You hear the cadence and the push. Wisconsin able to push that scrum back, but ball kept by Minnesota. Now Minnesota takes their opportunity to attack. Offload, unable to go to hand, and using that boot to push it all the way off the park.
Okay.
Big line out, let's go.
Now we have our first line out of the game. All-star teams lineouts are always tough. You got to find a way to get them right on the day, Smarto.
Yeah, this is certainly a KISS principle part of the game because it can be super technical, but you really just want to get the ball in play and play cleanly.
Stay down, Purple. Stay down.
And that was perfect. That's all it has to be.
Yep, ball played off the top of that cleanly. Now we have our first break of the game right around midfield, grabbed and bottled up. An amazing run to get meterage.
Good, Milo. Play on.
Ball played out to the wing, still able to keep possession, but the AR gives the indication for a knock on. Now we'll have another scrum. Ball being able to play it in the space, but just a little bit of handling errors on the back ends of these here.
Yeah, unlucky there at the end. I like a 5-man line out, in the middle of the field because I was able to get that first pass off to the 8-man. Becca Carroll had a huge, big physical run straight forward. Then once they started to move it, you have that handling error. And now you have a turnover, but they did get good forward off their first line out.
Set.
As you see the offloads and the ball being put out of play, played it out in the space, unable to go to hand cleanly. Referee needed AR help, and now we're back at that action. That scrum played, able to flip and regather the ball, play on the ground. Referee says that's fine. Now the Purple are back on attack as that ruck is handled beautifully, and the ball hit the ground. Referee says play on, no knock on backwards. Now they mob around the corner. Ball hits the ground again, and they're losing meters every time that ball hits turf. This ball is played to Jurczyk. Jurczyk plays it out in space. And that defensive line speed is closing off any opportunity to get around the corner. As the right fin by every layer gets the offload away. And with a great opportunity, 20 meters, 8 up here on that break. And it looks like we might have our first real opportunity at points here, Smarto. But the timely steal in position, hands on the ball, and the referee says play on. As now Wisconsin shows their heart, saving the try there after an amazing build-up by Minnesota. But it looks like Minnesota might have had the steal here. No. Ball is fine, says the referee. Now Wisconsin is again on the attack. Do they choose the kick? Do they go with the hands? Over the top pass. Takes a bounce and gathered an amazing gather there on that edge. But a steal by Minnesota and back and forth turnovers by both sides. And another turnover by Wisconsin. Steal after steal. And the ball is played. Referee says play on and push off the park. A frantic back and forth piece of play there, Smarto, with both teams having great opportunity to steal the ball.
Here we go.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers and possession changes in that 22 there, but that was after that great run. Like you said, you had Diavalar, and then Ali Pettis was able to get the big breakaway, lost it in contact, but we're back, and hopefully they can get back on the front foot here. And they're going to play it right off the ground.
Ball played out wide, 2 passes and a strong double fin. Amazing run by Jurczyk, gets the ball away to her opposite center, and Bieber goes in, wagging to the try line. We got our first points of the game here, Sparta.
Ooh, baby, baby, baby. Sydney Bieber dotting down the first 5. Player from the Minneapolis Menagerie. That's a club team, one of the many club teams in Minneapolis. But let's go back to the connect. So didn't get any lift off the line out, but got the ball in cleanly, and then you're going to come in with a very physical inside center 12 into the 13, working exactly how it's supposed to be, and we'll get the dot down in the corner after a few, handling errors on both sides. It's good to put one away.
Yeah, Maya Jurczyk from University of Minnesota Twin Cities with the twin fins, keeping multiple defenders away. Offload to that opposite center, inside the out, and Bieber was out. We have our first 5 points of the game, as now both sides You can see the fatigue, and it's really starting to set in. This is not a chilly day here in Lamont, Illinois, as now the fitness is going to be a part of this equation as well.
Oh, always a huge factor, especially in Midwest rugby. You know, most of these teams probably haven't played. Most of these kids, you know, they haven't played in probably a month, maybe more. So that's definitely also a part of it. You can be fit, but if you're out of season, it's always tough. So whoever can hang tight, who's got the deepest bench, that's all going to help today when you've got the weather and everything else.
All played on kickoff. Tap backwards, says the referee. Fine. As now Emily goes for a break. This check able to get a break, but immediately stolen. I mean, the turnover play by both sides. Ball stolen again. Seemed like that ruck was resourced properly, but unable to keep possession. As now Minnesota's off to the races once more. Crashing forward. Soaking tackle on the edge there. And a big booming hit. And now the physicality is starting to step up a bit here. Minnesota crashing in the triple defenders. Get the offload away. That's one fin. That's two. And again, Minnesota goes in to score. But Ayani, the Avalar, pushing multiple defenders away and getting 5. Let's look this back over, Smarto.
Here's your line, just outside the post.
Yeah, so you had a great tackle here, but with no counter ruck, this ball is moving really fast. So as this ball comes out on the offload, you've got Diavalar, who is just going to push everybody off. There's a reason she's playing up over, you know, any of these other players for the Twin City Gemini right now. And who doesn't love a prop try? Everybody loves a prop try. So she's going to get a little albuterol, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling. That conversion was no good, so we're up to 10-0 right now.
No, you're good.
And the first couple minutes was all Wisconsin, but now that Minnesota has ball in hand, they're starting to hit their stride.
Absolutely. Those 2 consecutive back-to-back tries is going to push this game into some dangerous territory for Wisconsin. They got to find a way to answer. Ball has been played on mostly one half of the field here early in this first 10 minutes. Can they find an answer defensively to stop this Minnesota train, the purple train rolling down the tracks as we get a kickoff and the ball is played, hitting the ground again. Play on, says the referee. And with that looping turn, gets a bit of momentum, runs crashingly into this Wisconsin side. Now Minnesota's found a way to link up, playing those short passes
off your feet,
from the forward and off the feet, says the referee, as Red tried to get her hands on the ball, but just couldn't keep her footwork there.
Yeah, that was a huge reach. She almost had it, but just lost it at the very end going for that bit for the ball, which got posted all the way back.
And look at the line speed, but referee says offsides, eye on the prize. Almost had an interception there. As now Minnesota continues to push the ball forward and forward. The referee is going to go to offsides, second offsides. Minnesota wastes no time going right to the tap. Ball thrown wide, unable to be gathered cleanly. 2 backward taps. And now Minnesota is trying to get the ball to the edge here. Absolute towering run. Running over defenses, says Marlowe. Can she stay in bounds? She does on that far side. Ball played to a forward crash. Look at the momentum from this Minnesota side, but the offload unable to be gathered cleanly. And Wisconsin now with an opportunity to attack to the space here. Balls continue to hit the ground, unable to get a clean gather, and the referee is going to go back to that first knock on. Smarto. It looks like Minnesota has everything rolling, just mistakes in the back end, keeping them from expanding the scoreline here.
Yeah, Minnesota, now that they're rolling, exactly like you said, they're coming straight down the tracks. Every run is coming straight up, and it's really forcing, you know, your Wisconsin defenders to make a choice and make a hit. Wisconsin is getting some turnovers, but every time they get the ball, they have a tendency to go a little more east-west than north-south. So if they can straighten up their hips, hopefully they can have a little more attack success to get a little more yards.
Ball played out of the scrum and choosing to play the tactical game. Right foot bomb puts them right around the 10-meter line. able to get some territory back. Wisconsin choosing to play the space game here.
It's over at the ropes. Hey,
Yeah, that's a nice little boot. That's a good decision. They were successful in their first line out. So hopefully, again, I think right now, Wisconsin, they have an idea, but their execution is struggling right now to connect. They're trying to, if they can just run and settle and keep building off their momentum, then those extra second, third, fourth, passes can come. But right now, they're just having a tough time connecting.
We'll talk at the next one.
Ball played out of that line out, and Wiley played. It looks like Bieber was going to have opportunity to break again, but multiple defenders are there. The line speed and aggression from Wisconsin is becoming a problem. His offsides is called yet again by the referee.
Here on the 15.
He's going to continue to make sure that offside line is respected.
Captain.
And now looks like he's going to have a conversation.
We got the line out. We had one at the ruck over here, and then we had another one over here at the ruck. So the 3 offsides. I need you to bring your team back, okay? So I'm in the game. Thank you.
And that conversation just shows that referee's control, Smarto. As now the referee is going to be focused on Wisconsin staying on side here.
Yeah, and if you're new and you're tuning in and maybe you're watching, your cousin or your niece or a granddaughter or your roommate, something like that. So in rugby, the referee, you're only allowed to talk to the captain, and only the captain's allowed to talk to him. So that's a big responsibility for Hannah Tim on the Wisconsin side. Has to say, hey, we're committing too many penalties. We got to clean it up. And the next time he might start looking for cards.
Big collision as now the ball is being put into play. Marlowe again being way too much for one defender as the counter ruck pushing in.
Go away, Blue. No.
Santa from Michigan Tech collapsing that ruck there. And now Minnesota sets themselves up, getting inside that 22-meter line. Ball played out wide, carving run, looking for someone to distribute it to. And the offloads from Minnesota have been pushing them forward. Little by little, they've been finding their teammates running sharp lines nearby. And again, crashing line into 3 defenders. Referee is going to call not releasing by the ball carrier. As now immediately, Wisconsin chooses to go fast. And this might be their best shot with a smashing tackle on that outside edge. Gotta love how physical this game has started to become. Players getting swung to the ground. It's now Wisconsin really with their first chances set up since the early part, first 5-6 minutes of this game.
Still penalty advantage, Blue. Still penalty advantage.
Is now having a penalty advantage. They can make it a free play and go a little while here, do what they want, with the referee choosing to not give them choosing to take the penalty on them not being back 10 on the previous penalty. And now Wisconsin with a chance to go back to that tactical thought. Kicks it to the edge, but no, they choose scrum right outside their 22-meter here, Smarto.
Yeah, I think that's a good call for them. Sucking in, they want to. Those defenders are big, and we want to put in all their big physicality so you can have a better lineup, back line to back line. And Wisconsin really right now, they need to start turning their hips. They need to start running downhill at the purple machine here, and that's going to help them get out of their own end and try to answer back with the score of their own.
Offload on that 8-man pick and ran down around the edge to try to score Bieber, making a pull-down tackle on Wisconsin's captain, Tim. As now Wisconsin able to keep it charging, pop from the base. They're choosing to keep play going. And right when Minnesota had a chance to try to score, the Avalar with a great opportunity to poach, but just couldn't keep her body position and feet, falling over the ruck, and the referee's going to step on that every single time, Smarto.
Yeah, I'm loving the aggression to try and get all of these turnovers and try to jackal and going for it. I'm really into it. It's making a lot of fun play.
And Pettis breaking a tackle and injecting speed from the back after that kick receipt. Ball not going out of bounds on that penalty. And it looks like she had a great chance to score, able to get them just outside the 5-meter line as Minnesota is charging forward. Pick and go. Grabbed and slowed down by this Wisconsin side. As Jimenez gets close, another pick and go. Again, Minnesota are inches away.
Yes, I got it.
Choosing to go right into the heart of this Wisconsin defensive line, and they get their third try of this match as Minnesota has upped the tempo after a blistering run by Pettis.
Yeah, that was a forward try, but that would not have been possible with all of that, without the individual work of Allie Pettis. Not only did she have the big break, which we're going to go back and see. So got it here, scanned the field, had the vision, found her line. So now she starts to run, and she's not going to make it the whole way, and she knows that she's not going to make it the whole way. Great cover tackle by Cirrus Rid. But look at this work. She's going to not roll over, do the long body ruck, and make sure she secures that before the forwards start to come in and start their pick and roll, going for that try there. So we see 4 pickup, and then 1 more off the back, and that's 3 unanswered.
New ball? Yeah, you want to grab one?
For Minnesota.
And Minnesota versus speed by Pettis. And soon as she saw the line she wanted to take, there was no one slowing her down. Breaking the line cleanly, corralled on the back end by a great tackle.
You said they went into the bench or no?
But just not enough to slow down this Minnesota side as they seem to be rolling. Conversion good, and we're sitting at a 17-0 scoreline. And more work to be done here.
Here, ready? On you.
You're about to basically kick off the second quarter just about here. And Wisconsin's still trying to find their rhythm, but they have a lot of athletes. They have plenty of time to get back in this.
Ball played wide, and look at the defensive line speed. No matter the score line, Wisconsin is going to bring the fight. They're moving up as the defensive line, but a knock-on and that pressure gives them the ball back. But now Wisconsin has their first real opportunity as they now have a scrum right outside the 22-meter.
Yeah, this is a huge possession for them. Not only do we need to have this successful scrum, but we've got to put some phases together to stay on the attack to start to answer against this Minnesota lead.
Bind. Set. They're not.
Ball played with the scrum. It looks like Wisconsin's going to have control there. Dragging line across by Savannah, and they get it all the way wide, but just can't go to hand. Still playing on, says the referee. Gathered by Parent, but she's immediately taken down by her opposing wing. Lennon with the big hit. Tim, that left-handed one-hand swing pass. Going to the forward pass, and a counter ruck might give Minnesota opportunity to ball, but able to hold their ground. Multiple Wisconsin players filling in. And we have a break here. Becca Corral was able to get through, but just couldn't get the offload away. As now we'll have a scrum here for Purple.
Yeah,
Purple scrum.
That was a great footwork before contact, taking that defender off guard and going forward. Just, again, unlucky in the contact and being able to recycle through. Wisconsin right now is kind of stuck in like 3 phases and then a turnover, but you got to credit the Minnesota defense that's really making them work and work quickly.
Set.
Now we have a scrum set up here. Looks like there is movement immediately on this scrum. Push back. Ball played out. And big run earlier leading the points by Yurchek. Able to get some forward momentum, but the ball is stolen. And we've seen again defense showing up for this Wisconsin side as Jared Beck able to get the steal. And now we have Wisconsin on the run. Bean tried to slice through, but cut down by DeAvelar. She's confused while going through. Wasn't sure what the situation was, but still able to finish as Becca Corral hesitate, but doesn't wait and gets 5 for this Wisconsin side.
Well, that was a much needed burst through for the Wisconsinites for sure. You've got your big 8, Becca Carroll able to finish. So there was a little confusion here, but great run forward by Bean. And then as we come through here, great look up. And then they just literally leaves Minnesota stunned in their tracks. And not taking into the hesitation, finishing under the post, hopefully setting up for a successful conversion, which we have. All right, 17-7. That's a different game altogether.
Did they get the ball? I mean, new ball.
And with 23 minutes right around into this Thunderbird Cup, Minnesota scoring 3 tries early on, having so much of the forward momentum. Wisconsin not going quietly, physical in tackles, able to get the ball back through a number of breaks and half breaks, gets down the field, and gets on this scoreboard. It's going to mean so much, especially for his confidence moving forward. You see Minnesota now is trying to get players riled up, trying to get them back active. They know they had the upper hand, and they still have a hand that is up, but anything can happen here in these all-star Thunderbird settings. As now Minnesota bringing the defensive pressure, making the hit. Wisconsin forced to bring multiple players into that ruck. Ball not played out clean, but still able to be gathered. Offload is there, and that line able to press that defensive line with big hit, swinging down tackle. As I said, the physicality has picked up. Stepping across is Tim, getting the offload away, chest pass, and now on the edge, Wisconsin able to play left and right, able to play in the space. Ball sometimes hitting the ground, and that's been an issue, and that knock on there might be Minnesota's chance to answer back just outside the 22.
Yeah, Wisconsin definitely is not fearful of this contact. I think if they just shorten up their passes a little bit, they're really trying to stretch the field, and they are having some success, but it is stretching them just like a little bit too much, and that's causing these handling errors. But if they tighten up a little bit and stuck with the same strategy, I think they could be really successful as a counterattack to this defense that is bum rushing them.
11-9.
Ball played out in the back of the scrum there. Dragged down, hard charging hit as the defense shut the door on Tom's able to take it in that scrum half position. Pulled down by the shirt and played out again. Minnesota is using the space on these edges. Big Finn again. We've been seeing her throw that Finn all match, and it's leading to her going in the score. Then she had the legs. An almost improbable try. Mia Sturchek pushes off multiple defenders, stays inside of the field, and goes in for her first try of the game. She is having an awesome first half here, Smarto.
Yeah, she has certainly been in the mix in all these other plays, and that one she just said, nah, I'm going to take this one myself. So we're going to get the dish from the lock. Again, everybody's a threat at an all-star tournament, which I love. Had a first little bump in contact, but unable to finish that contact. She's just going to put her shoulder down and go 2 more times with the big reach over for 5 more for the mighty Minnesota U23 women here. It's going to take no conversion. So now we're at 22-7 with about 15 minutes to go. And really, that's what's, I think, really fun about an all-star tournament. You have no idea who's on the bench. You have no idea like who's going to be able to stay in and stay out, and with injuries coming. Consider that Wisconsin right now, they lost their starting fly half in the first minute of the game. So now that they're starting to settle down a little bit, I think that, we can hopefully hit that groove a little bit more.
Yeah, it's improbable to lose your starter immediately, but you got to answer back. And still in this fight is this Wisconsin side.
Feels good.
Minnesota charges forward, but the ball is stolen by Wisconsin. Minnesota player reaches through and steals it back. We've been having so many turnovers. It's been an absolute clinic in those tackle areas with multiple turnovers by both teams. As now Minnesota throws the ball. Players still getting back and preparing to get back on sides. And immediately we have Claudia trying to go around the corner. The University of North Dakota player couldn't get around the corner and push into touch, as now Wisconsin will get their opportunity to attack back after giving up a try.
Yeah, the
Keep that width,
groundwork for
ladies.
both
That's been good. Keep that
teams,
width.
on attack, they're having ball security issues, but on defense, they're going for it. So those two things together is creating tons of this transition play, and whoever can execute the best out of that is really probably who's going to be able to, end up with the most points here at the end of the day.
Liv George with an absolute monstrous run, fending off multiple players, but couldn't escape everyone. It took a back three player to stop her. And the pick and go going the opposite way. Jared Beck
You had your chance.
couldn't get all the way to the try zone, but right around the 10-meter line as now Harms prepares to play the ball out and knocked on, says the referee. Bend but don't break defense from this Minnesota side as Wisconsin breaking through and showing they have some fight left in them. And this scrum is going to be vital for Minnesota here.
Right here.
Oh, for sure. They're backed up all the way to, onto their own try line. Huge run by All-American Liv George. Got him really close. But then that counter-rucking from Minnesota, that sucked in Tim, and it was like someone else has to come get this ball. And unfortunately, in that rabble-rouse, they had that knock on the ground, so they turned it over. But the way that the ball is getting turned over now, they could have ball in hand 10 meters out really quickly.
No? Okay.
Are you a 9 or no?
With absolute speed, they could.
Reset here. Let's go. Let's go here.
As now,
So you can be in the back line. They don't have to have a 9 there. Should be back there.
referee is organizing the scrum.
Okay.
Very important here
Wait, do we have a...
Crouch!
as we prepare for a scrum.
Line.
Less than 10 minutes left in this first half. Minnesota and Wisconsin bringing a strong contest here to you. Next level rugby production as the ball is played out from the back of that scrum. Tip backwards, says the referee on the first, but the second one was knocked on. And now Wisconsin with a chance to score or at least put pressure on his Minnesota side deep into this first half.
Time's
Yeah, I
off.
think so.
Time's off.
That,
We got about 7 minutes left, okay? There's 7 minutes left in the half.
all right, well, time is off. That last scrum, Wisconsin played without a defensive scrum half, and Hannah Tim went into
Real
hook
quick.
and bumped out Liv George to flanker. So something off screen, there's either an injury or something, because that looks like that's what's being addressed now. Getting some water on.
We were talking about that beforehand, so yeah.
It's a hot one out here. So this is when, we start figuring out who's on the bench,
20-minute water break.
who's going to bring some fresh legs and a spark in for Wisconsin. Because, if they can score again
Hey, quick water. Yeah,
with
I
less
think
than
second
10
half
minutes to
we'll do a
go,
20-minute
this
water
is the
break,
most important
Yeah.
5 minutes of the half.
But
Is
we got 7
how
minutes
is your momentum going to go into the second half?
And
If you're
now-
pumping up your team right now, Lance, what are you telling them? You got 7 minutes to go.
20-minute water break because we've had some
Well, the first thing I would say, it's time for us to settle a little bit more into ourselves. The ball seems to be finding the ground a little bit too much for both sides. The ruck seems to be easily poached for both sides. They both have similar small issues they need to correct, and it's hard to do so in these all-star situations. You're not playing with a player throughout the year or have more than a weekend with them. You got to find some synergy in a short amount of time. But the first team who can do that, even with a 15-point deficit, Wisconsin stands a shot in the second 40-minute structure we have, especially if they can get points here at the end of this first half, as both teams now settle down into a scrum.
Set.
Changing directions. There's Olivia Appel. Ball being played back. Now, Wisconsin choosing to go short line. Referee says play on. 2 broken tackles. And Jared Beck, who's been showcasing all day, gets him so close. Crushing run by Liv George. She has been a monstrous ball carrier throughout the match. And again, a steal. Jared Beck showcasing her ability again. She has been flashing all over the screen here in this Thunderbird Cup. Getting the steal to stop an opportunity for Wisconsin, but a knock on by Minnesota. Ball unable to go to hand. Now we have a 5-meter scrum. That was an exciting bit of play there, Smarto.
Yeah, there's, like you said, during this little break here, they're starting to settle in, and you can see it in these glimpses. That was a great little line of play. Heading out to, you got it right out to Jared Beck, got it out to Liv George. You're in the 2-meter line.
Crouch.
And then we get turned over because we don't have the resources.
Fine.
But They're lucky they got this ball back.
Set.
I wonder if they'll go for a pushover. That would be spectacular.
Ball slowly played to the back of the scrum. New rules of scrum having the tunnel, able to preserve ball. And we have a big collision, swinging down, yank tackles around the edge. The ball's played out in the space, but unable to cleanly gather it. Referee's going to call that a knock-on. That is a tough bit of play for Wisconsin, who had a real chance to score.
Yeah, that was tough, especially when it's, you get that shoelace pass and you're trying to get it. And it looks forward, looks down, but not able to complete. So there has been some cheeky stuff going on in this scrum. Both forward packs are very stable, and they're able to push and shove and wiggle and wheel. So it's not unreasonable to think that they can get this ball back to Wisconsin right now.
Ball played at 5-meter scrum, so dangerous, but cleanly retrieved. Unable to get the ball to hand, using a little bit of that foot skill. Hops right back to the hand, but then the pressure was there. Not a lot of meterage on that kick, but what a great bit of skill to keep attention on that ball and make sure you get it off the park here.
Yeah, great heads up, knowing that you're not going to be able to catch it. So don't go for it. Just chip it to yourself a little off the outside of the foot, so didn't quite get the distance. But this is still giving that platform to get set, and it's really anybody's game. We've seen turnovers in all aspects.
That line out play, and now Wisconsin could go in here. Booming run by Abby Terada. Just stopped short. Rising over, says the referee. Wisconsin might go quick here. And they do. Tap by Tim. Tim plays it out wide. Get a chance to go in the score. Minnesota, Wisconsin returns fire as Mia Beam, the TC Amazon, hits her points for this Wisconsin side.
Everybody loves a prop try. I can't say it enough. I wish that only props continue to score. So great recognition. They get the penalty to go quick. And with Hannah Tim taking those 2 steps forward, she has eyes of 6 defenders on her, sucked in with one little dish out. Bean's able to take a defender with her and then just extend through and dot it over the line to give her team 5 more points to keep them in and keep them competitive. So that's huge. That's a huge 5 points.
Yeah, especially with time being where it is. A real opportunity to bring this game closer. If they can close out the half with those 5 points, sneaking those 5 points right under that wire, it really stands well. 40 minutes is a long time for a second half. Fitness is going to start stepping in. And the small things inside of this competition are really going to start to matter as we get deeper in this at the end of this first half. But Smarto, you got to love what you've seen so far, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I love All-Star Rugby so much. Like this competition specifically, the U23 Midwest Women's Tournament is one of my favorite competitions anywhere. It's been going on for seemingly feels like since the beginning of time. But it was really strong. It kind of dipped, but it's coaches. It's these kind of coaches out here, Zane and both Amity, they both played for their U23s when they were in college. And so this is how they give back to the game because they had such a good time doing it. They want these players to have the same opportunities. So this is great. I've been to a lot of these tournaments, and the physicality and the speed of play is really high this year. It's higher than it's been, than 5 or 10 years ago for sure. So you can see the growth of the game happening.
Crouch!
Yeah, looking at the list of players, some of them coming out of a lot of colleges in the area, most if not all of them from colleges in the area. So now you're seeing such that regional connection here as we have a big collision. Unable to be brought down. Liv George holding on and making the tackle there. And it's a turnover again. Wisconsin find a way to get the ball back after that Marlowe run. Now we have Wisconsin calling forward. Ball played backward to keep those poachers away. And now sharp lines being played. That pass swinging around on the way down. Wisconsin is really grinding forward, bringing it to that 5-meter channel. so dangerous close to that touchline to lose possession, but able to keep it in bounds. As now again they choose to go to the forward, but no one there to keep the try scorer, the Avalar, away. And that offload finds Jack, and she's going to go in the score. Does she have the legs? She does. And answering back from Minnesota is crucial to dim some of that energy Wisconsin got from scoring. But man, Minnesota just showing you, you leave the ball available for a split second, they'll take it and put points on.
Yeah, lots of effort there. So shout out to Devilar again, seeing her all over the field, getting that ball back, and by sucking in the two closest players, you're opening up that little half gap right next to you. So Sesh check again, coming right off her hip, whoop, and then nobody is behind you to stop it. So they're going to go for two more here, and then this will take us into halftime.
Good luck. Sash.
And that kick unsuccessful as now we head into halftime. Minnesota putting together a lot of team moments, defensive turnaround moments, able to get a sizable lead over Wisconsin, 27-12. We will be right back here in Lamont, Illinois for more Thunderbird.
Thin. Any reversible one, it's just.
Tell me about your experience with RCT so far.
Well, I think my experience can be best described as really fun and community bonding because I meet so many new people playing the sport I love.
I wrestle and I play football, and there's nothing like rugby.
Yeah, everybody that I've ever met that tries rugby just comes to one practice has ended up liking it. And I asked her like what it was, and she said like full contact, like same rules, guys and girls, and I didn't believe her. And then she was like, oh, come out to our practices. And I did, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to play. And then I started playing. It was really fun.
Oh no, it's just a game that I love. It's pretty fun though, I don't know, I just love everything about it.
It's the laid-back atmosphere of it. We all be friends on the field and off the field.
Just the bond and the vibe from everybody is nice and builds like a lot of character.
You should play it. Play rugby. That's it.
Like how we even like beat out of each other in the game, but then we like come together after and we're just like shake hands.
What do you think that is? Why is that?
I personally think it's just we're all one community, like it's one family. We all play rugby, it's just one family.
It's a sport.
Yeah,
because if you have to have respect for the person going after you because you work hard and they have to work just as hard to have you.
So you say that respect is probably the greatest value you can gain out of this game?
By far.
Yeah.
By far.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends is definitely.
One word is family. Like you got people like you could depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like giving my all on the field. And
we all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good, and talk to and laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby's done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet, like, you know how the hood is, so you know, like, it's crazy, like, around shooters and all that stuff. So it's just keeping me out from there, and then changing from like me gotta worry about, oh, I can't walk here, instead of just changing my life and being positive and don't need to worry about anything that much.
I think people really underestimate women in sports. Like in my school, rugby, especially the girls' rugby, is really strong, and I don't think a lot of people expect that that women can have the sort of strength or like sort of drive that men can have in sports. And I mean, you can see today, like, it's pretty much even. Women want to, you know, have an outlet for physical contact or something to blow off steam just as much as men do. And they're just as physical, and we're just as, I guess, you can say aggressive as men can be, and we can be just as successful on the rugby field. So I think it just helped me learn that whatever a man can do, I can do it. It's no worries. I can do exactly what they can do.
Growing up in Mississippi, my prayer was, for as long as I can remember, God, use me. Use this life. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that there is a vision for my life that is greater than my imagination can hold. Use me. What would you have me to do? And that dream, that desire, that prayer brought me somehow to television.
And she's gonna learn that this life will hit you hard in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America, there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
It's huge. There's limitations. There's been greater limitations before my involvement, which has stopped some athletes from being able to chase their dreams and having to go and fulfill a 9-to-5 job just to live, really.
So in life, you know, there are moments when you stop and ask yourself, how did I get here? Like, why am I standing here? Girls have the power to change the world. It is a fact. There's a really, really beautiful quote that I read recently, and I think it's absolutely appropriate to explain what I'm trying to say today. The hand that rocks the cradle, the procreator, the mother of tomorrow, a woman shapes the destiny of civilization. Such is the tragic irony of fate that a beautiful creation such as a girl child is today one of the gravest concerns facing humanity.
Old Boys Rugby LLC delivers premium apparel crafted for former players who carry the game with them long after the final whistle. Every piece is designed for the match day experience, from the pitch to the third half, and a percentage of every sale goes directly to supporting youth rugby development. Designed for matches, third half celebrations, and everything in between. Old Boys Rugby gives back, with a percentage of proceeds for supporting the next generation of rugby athletes through youth development programs.
Most girls are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far, we are unstoppable. Most girls are fight to make every day. No two are the same. I wanna be like.
So actually, before I started playing rugby, I was just a cheerleader for my high school, and I was very shy, nervous, and being around teammates. Rugby is a very accepting sport. I wasn't embarrassed about my body or anything. People really welcome you and actually like take your strengths and weaknesses and work with you to like make you a better person.
And we are back here at the Thunderbird Cup as we get an opportunity to look over some of the early tries. Smarto, we've seen so many big plays, double fin there. So much going on here with this action, Smarto.
Yeah, we've had some huge physical tries. Nobody's really getting through clean. Minnesota is in the lead right now, 27-12. They jumped out to an early lead, and we're seeing that in the recap here. And we're going to see some prop tries. We got Ayani Davilar, who's been all over the field today. But Wisconsin came back with a pair of their own. And Minnesota was able to dot one down before the half. But as we kick off the second half, we'll see who's going to be able to take this one home in the last 40 minutes.
There's so much time left. That ball knocked on right on the tail end. As now Minnesota, who had such an advantage, knocked the ball on right around the 5-meter line. Wisconsin with a great opportunity to get more points and get back into this game. I mean, a 15-point deficit looks a lot different when it's 8 points. Looks a lot different when it's 10 points.
Yeah, huge opportunity. We see some subs, changing a few things around. Liv George is now in the 8 position, which is huge. She's had some huge runs, so giving her some opportunities to maybe pick and go would be great for some go forward, and here we go.
Rock. Big carry off of the back of that scrum there, and now Wisconsin pushing forward.
The knock.
Ball hit.
Another knock.
First
First knock here was the purple.
And that double knock gives the ball back to Minnesota, as now they have a chance to right their wrongs.
Purple scrum.
Second half.
First knock was on blue.
Yeah,
right here.
We're back to, we got all excited and we started to hit our groove, but we're starting off the half with kind of the same issues we had last half. Lots of ball insecurity on both sides, so there is a lot of turnovers.
Coach!
Both teams have really powerful scrums though, so this could be a big win or a big turnover at any point.
The ball played in the back of that scrum, dribbles out, but able to be held and contained by Minnesota. Good opportunity for the steal, and the referee is going to give the call there as Jared Beck, who's been an absolute star, has gotten the steal.
It's short, plays it back, Blue.
Go in as Liv George falls just short, tried to regather, but couldn't keep possession. And now Wisconsin.
We're good. Made the tackle. Tackle's made. Yep.
Right inside of the 5-meter line. Wisconsin happens to go right into the heart of the defense, and they get it done. That ball picked up and driven in for the score. I believe that was Abby Parada who got those points there. But what a great opportunity for Wisconsin to wait for them to convert it.
Yeah, very patient. You know, when you start getting inside the 5, you've got those try-eyes going, but they were able to successfully move it out just enough. So Terada is able to have that space, still had to take the contact, but we're tight 5 forwards. We're not afraid of that. So taking that contact going under the post. So that hopefully is, we're lining up Madison Cornell. And that's 2 more.
Immediately, those points gives Wisconsin a little bit of life here as they continue to fight. Physical on defense, strong line speed in that first half. And so we're able to find points capitalizing on penalty mistakes. But now Wisconsin getting those 5 points to start this second half. Now the entire complexity of this game has changed as both U20 sides continue to compete back and forth. We take a look at the try score there.
Yeah, you can see them setting up. They're smiling. They're looking at, they just had their halftime. They had a plan. And when you come out and you roll and it's like, you know, they kind of bumbled a possession, but they were able to turn that into 7 points.
You're good.
That's huge. And they're smiling. And if Wisconsin can start feeling themselves again, they're going to continue to close that gap. Now 27-19.
Yep.
Wisconsin able to keep possession, trying to go forward. Players a little bit in front, but referee says no issue. Wisconsin throws the ball in the back of that ruck. Olivia Pale's been playing from the scrum. Flick passes Liv George, who has showcased so much in this half. Takes a left foot step, and she might have the legs to go finish. Then she get all the way, a little bit of stumble. Caught from behind. Finds a winger, Lennon. But again, Wisconsin's on the front foot. They charge forward. Another strong run by Jared Beck, who's done so much in this match so far. All played out to
Good, Megan.
Plays it off.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go back to an earlier issue. As the ball was thrown forward, looks like referee looking to his AR.
Come here.
To help. And that was an exciting bit of play there, Smarto. Look at this break by Liv George.
Yeah, we're hoping to see in that 8 spot more ball in hand for Liv George, and she gave us that big break, and they were able to move it a little further until, you know, we had a call forward here.
Coach!
And so we're going to set this scrum back up. But Wisconsin's feeling themselves. So, again, I'm looking for a turnover scrum, possibly every scrum, because both teams are capable.
Absolutely big pick up the back of that.
You gotta roll away first.
Not able to get away from the ruck. Referee says not played cleanly. As now Minnesota's on attack here. Ball played out wide. Fifth arm there, another fin, but just couldn't get completely away. Now the ball is being played out to the edge. Smooth transition. Almost found her way through, says.
Back over here.
Lennon, but on the side.
I see her.
No ruck. Referee is going to go back. Minnesota's found a little bit of stride here. Really attacking strong. Really showcasing the lead that they found for themselves.
Yeah, seem to have a little confusion here on this penalty, but Wisconsin's just so excited to get a hit they didn't go back time. So that is, we don't want to be giving up any free meters in a situation like this, especially, you know, after you start closing that lead and you're within 10 points. So that intensity is really going to start ramping up as we are tending to, looks like a little bit of a sprain or a strain or something going on with Liv George, who's just been all over the field. Attack, defense, set piece in every play.
Yeah, every time Liv seems to touch the ball, she is living on the highlight reel.
She's going to play down
the way that she's been breaking through, stumbling, cutting through, almost had herself a 60-plus meter try, breaking through all the way, but you got to appreciate. Got trainers on the ground, able to tape up, make sure the player's secure. Somehow got out of socks and shoe on the field. Referee giving her just a bit of time. She's been so important.
Over.
It's Wisconsin side. It looks like they're going to start without her.
Purple, send me your ball.
This is her break early, Smarto. You got to love the speed she had, but just a little trip there.
Yeah, you're always rooting for tight 5 forward to outrun a wing. It doesn't always happen, and that's okay. But she knew she was getting caught, and you could see, you know, she's trying to change that direction, change her feet up, just to take up as much time as possible so that support can get to her. And that's just great rugby IQ right there.
Away, blue, gather blue.
As the ball hits the ground, pops up, the referee says we're playing through here. Minnesota still just bringing the physicality of ball carriers. The first player cannot the ball to ground. Minnesota continues.
Offside.
Play with a little bit of speed here. Offside's called.
He
had a little bit of an early jump on that top side of your screen. Now a chance to really work in this free play does Minnesota.
Still penalty advantage, purple.
Forward to forward. Still playing penalty advantage. moved all the way around as Ganfield
hands out.
and gets the offload away to Hill. Still finding a way through. The ball flipped out the back, caught cleanly.
Hands out, bro. Hands out.
And not released, says the referee, is the only reason that a turnover. It wasn't a clean steal. As Minnesota continues to play forward.
No, hands out, Blue. Hands out.
He has been a blazer earlier in this
Advantage game.
Advantage game. Again. Advantage played as Ganfield gets a crash ball. Tackle and grab low by Jared Beck, who's also for this Wisconsin side has put in a lot of work. Spin move to get away, says Marlowe. Again, physical running is getting Minnesota up and down this field as the ball is played from the assist your check. And she finds the winger crashing through. That's Lennon, who's been showcasing all over your screen here, and the ball couldn't be gathered cleanly by Megan Schmid, and that turnover really stopped a great bit of forward momentum for this Minnesota side.
Yeah, they were having great phase play, and you're seeing, again, what I love is, you see some subs in, you're seeing those bigger numbers, but play is not dropping off. They're moving all the way left, all the way right, and they're just going forward, well supported. You're hearing the referee, love when a referee's mic'd up, starting to hear more of that hands out call. He wants that to speed up as both teams are clawing for it. So hopefully in this last 30, that piece of the game can get a little cleaner with some control. Great job.
As the ball is played into the scrum, and that push, players are falling over. Minnesota, strong scrum, forcing the turnover, and the forwards love that as immediately they go right to playing it quick. Ball tapped on the ground, and the try score from earlier, powering through players, making sure they're okay mid-run, but still getting positive meterage. As now, again, Ganfield able to get ball in hand, and that ball has a chance to be stolen. Referee says stolen, but it's going back to an earlier penalty, and now it's going to have a quick conversation with his AR. Let's listen in if we can.
Blue. Card here. Yellow. Yep. Okay. Yep. And it was number 2. Yep. Yep. She's out. Oh. Yep. Are you subbing in? Hold on. So regarding her, it would be her out, not her substitution, right? So, Captain, where's Captain? Come here, Captain. Yep. Yep. So right there, you've had, we talked about the offsides there. You had 2 in the first half. You've had 2 in a row here now. So number 2, so she was there. She's coming out, but she's going to be off for there. So has her sub come on yet?
No.
Okay, then you guys are down a man. She's off, okay?
Thank you.
Yep. Yep, thank you.
And that conversation leading to the cheese. Referee reaching in that pocket, and now with the lead, able to get the advantage. As now Purple crashes forward again. Megan Young sliding through, almost getting all the way through. But look at that burst of speed there. And just like that, Emily Zizek gets 5 more points from Minnesota as they seem to be rolling here, just playing at a completely different tempo with that player missing for Wisconsin.
Yeah, immediately taking advantage of one less player on the field, especially when you have one less Liv George. That's leaving a big hole for Wisconsin. So coming out of the base after this penalty play, we're just going to go straight up. Never seen a flanker shy away from a little contact, running directly into another flanker before dotting it down. So that's going to be try number 2 for the day for Ellie Sezchek out of the University of Minnesota, who also plays for Twin Cities. And a good conversion. I believe that's their 13.
As Harms is the one who's being credited. Hold on.
Well, it's number 7. That part we can all agree on.
Yeah, I think it was Minnesota who scored, I believe. But either way, Minnesota getting those points as Emily Shizek, goes in to score. And just to continue
So, yeah, we're at our score now.
Yeah, go ahead.
34-19. the first Wisconsin
No hands, blue, no hands, leave
score
it.
of the half is not on the scoreboard, but it is
Tackle.
there.
No hands, blue.
34-19. And now Minnesota is going to have an extra player for the next 8 minutes or so, and let's see if they can keep extending their lead.
Yellow, blue.
As a big collision happens, and we continue to have go forward and field forced to be dragged down.
Ball's available, ball's available.
As the charge from the purple continues. Offload away, amazing catch. Had a chance to zip by, but able to get one hand on it. Leah Henson able to corral that. It looks like this purple rush is just so much more connected. They found ways to get the offloads to hand. They found ways to protect the ruck. And they're showcasing on the scoreline, physical as ball carrier, because one attacker can't seem, one defender can't seem to bring down a ball carrier, but unable to gather it and keep it clean on the back end of that carry. As now the ball will be turned over.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the Minnesota connectivity, about half their starters are from the University of Minnesota, and the ones right now, and a lot of them continue into Twin Cities. So even at the next level, they're all from the University of Minnesota. So when you get your Golden Gophers all back together again, you have that familiarity and connectivity. Wisconsin has a little bit more of a mix throughout. And this is their first game of the weekend. This is the first time that
Here we go, ready?
Minnesota has played together. Wisconsin actually did get a warm-up match in. They were able to actually play against Twin City side to prepare for this tournament. So these teams are very intertwined and intermixed. They're very familiar with each other, but Minnesota is gelling quicker today than Wisconsin.
As the ball was thrown forward, little help from the AR to get everything taken care of there to call that forward pass. And now back on the tack. This is Minnesota side.
Yeah, Minnesota is not missing a beat in this second half. Looks like we have a time off. I'm not sure if there's an injury.
Yeah, there's
something in the back.
Referee sounded about an injury happening.
Right now. We're about 20, okay?
And he's going to go to a water break. Now we have an opportunity to step away for a split second and just talk about some of the ambiance and circumstances happening around this tournament, Smarto.
Oh, yeah. So I had mentioned, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Thunderbird Cup. This is the U23 women's division. This is one of the longest standing divisions of its kind. This used to be a gateway to a national tournament, and you'd have all of the little LAUs feed into your territorial team, and then there would be a Midwest team and a South and a East Coast or West Coast, all that good stuff. That tournament used to be called NASC. I don't even know if I remember what the letters stand for, because this was when dinosaurs roamed the earth, So, but that tournament kind of fell apart, and as USA Rugby and college rugby and all these and territories have all restructured in the last 15 years or so. That tournament went away, but the Midwest was like, nah, we're going to do this every year. So even when some of the seniors clubs and the other things have gone away and been in different iterations, the U23 tournament has happened every year for 20 some years. And that's why it's really fun. Like I mentioned earlier, the Wisconsin coaching staff, they all played together when they were in college. They all played on this same team in 2012, 2013-ish, and now they're back coaching. Same for Amity, Rachel, they all played on these teams, and they're their current coaches now. So it's great for some of the other players. I'm looking at, for example, Sabrina Chang. So she's a sub from Carleton College from Minnesota. that's like a student-run club, and they don't even always have enough players to play 15s. So getting an opportunity to come to a tournament like this, get to play 15s, get some really high-quality coaching, and you get to take that back to your club and improve your club. So this, all-star tournaments, this has always been an elevation step. You come in, you bring in your best, and when you go back, you're supposed to bring back whatever you learned. You should up your physicality, up your IQ. What are you taking from this tournament to go better your clubs? So that's what this tournament's all about. It's one of my faves. I did not participate as a player because I honestly didn't know that this existed, even though I would have been eligible, but who knew? My college was not in the territory, so I didn't know about it, but I lived in the territory, but I didn't find out. But I'm not bitter or anything, so it's okay. But
there is also just the appreciation of, how do you say, that the history, some of your friends playing on these teams, some other players being on these teams. It's just a great opportunity, especially here in the Midwest. Midwest seems to be a step ahead in a lot of ways. Going from college to club, there seems to be such a seamless transition and so much happening with some of these teams, and especially the unions and these area teams that seem to keep continuing to build the game here in the U.S.
That's another huge thing about this tournament, is because, it is to that 23-year-old. So both teams have adult players who are playing senior club, and that makes it so for you, if you're a graduate or, maybe you're a junior and you're there for the summer, if you know one person on the team, it makes it a lot less scary to show up to that first practice, So I'm sure, everybody at Twin Cities, they're being told, you get all these kids, you tell them that when they graduate, they come play for you. And if they hear that for 4 or 5 years, it'll be a no-brainer when they graduate. So it is this great bridge where you can say, hey, look at you, you can play up, you can play big kid rugby, and, when you want to come to your first practice, you can text me. So that's another excellent point about why this age group and these kind of tournaments is so important.
Anything to build the game, I say. Absolutely. Anything to build the game, I say. As now the referee gets us back from this water break. Minnesota holding a 34-19 lead over Wisconsin, and it's due to this physical running we've seen and the way this Minnesota team has found a way to connect and work together as ball is being played out wide. Hands are smooth. Hands will do. And out to the edge. Pettis showing so much earlier in this match, having speed in bunches, but unable to get away from a multitude of defenders there. Now we'll have a line out so close to that try line with a chance to score. Minnesota on the forward attack again here.
Yeah, that was some pretty ball movement, moving forward, but still gaining meters. And you could see Pettis trying to put the brakes on, going, no. But just didn't quite have the mass as the Wisconsin is dragging her out of bounds. But this is still a very precarious situation, being within this 5 meter and getting this ball back.
Played over the top, but knocked on with a great opportunity to score. It's the Avalar. Looks like she would have walked right in if she catches that cleanly, but just a surprise flying through and over on that line out, as now we'll have a scrum to Wisconsin.
Yeah, she's smiling. She knows. You've got 16 forwards smiling right now because Minnesota says, oh, we got this, and Wisconsin's going, whew, lucky us. So unless they want...
That was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
The referee blows up at 5 meter scrum. Didn't like what he's seen, and now it's being reorganized.
Coach. Fine. Set.
As the cadence come in, Olivia Appel plays the ball out. They have an opportunity to run an attack, and they choose to go to the boot. Ball played out of bounds right outside the 22, giving themselves just enough space. They can rally up a defense and try to keep this Minnesota side out of the try zone. It's going to be a tough ask, as this Minnesota side has really found some potency on offense.
Yeah, these set pieces have been big platforms for some movement on both sides of the ball. So if they can get a good connect here, be looking out for some physical play, either with a pod or even a possible maul. Unfortunately, the call is not straight. They're going to elect for the scrum, which seems to be safer for both teams right now than a line out. So
now pushing the ball away. Yeah, pushing the ball outside of the 22, and now with a chance just outside the 22 to push the ball down the field a little bit more as well. The referee zones into her cadence, and now we enter the fourth quarter of this game, 20 minutes into this second half. That's a big push from Minnesota, whose scrum has really been a force here. Ball played out wide, and they might have found space on the outside edge. A chance to get the offload, but nothing there. Able to be kept, and now they continue to go to that same side. Nothing there. In reverse field they go. Unable to be gathered cleanly, and that ball is still live. Kick forward and picked up, and Minnesota with a chance to go in and score again. A pick and go drive from the outside. And now, big crushing tackle by Yurchek. Could she go in and get points herself? And she does. And I believe that's her second try of the game, but if not, has been important on multiple tries today, really showcasing herself. Strong carries. But what an amazing turn of events here, Smarto.
Oh no, that's going to be a brace for Yurchek. But after the great turnover recovery by 17, which was right at the beginning of this clip from Gustavus Adolphus College, before we could get it out wide. And that's exactly what I was talking about before. Gustavus Adolphus is a really tiny little school in Minnesota, and they don't always have enough to even play 15s. They've been getting bigger. Ooh, off the post, but great strike. So for Herdman to come in, be an immediate contributor, and just be a part of this club, like that's a huge confidence build for somebody who plays D3 rugby.
Come back on.
You know, I love
yeah,
it.
It's important.
I love this age group. It's my absolute favorite.
U23s is your absolute favorite age group?
Yeah, like college, but like U23 does add in a little bit of that mix of some people with some club experience.
Yeah.
But like effectively this age group, since this is like U23 isn't as popular worldwide as it used to be. It used to be like a U23, but now that's basically turned into like, you know, the B side for a national team. Because if they're that good, you know, they're playing all the way up. So it's kind of like U20 and then the A's. But I still like this tournament. But we rumbling now.
Minnesota likes to go forward. Offloads away as they get multiple offloads and continue to push down the field. Back almost in the same spot they just found themselves in. And the way that they're crashing in and getting the offload away, bringing in defenders and forcing them to make the defensive decisions. Minnesota plays it quick. All the way out to the edge, a left foot inside step, multiple defenders falling off. Does she have the leg to finish? And she fights for the ball and fights for more yardage. Leah Hansen, unstoppable for a second as they give it to Genfield. Genfield gets it away. Left foot step and a fin by Shurchek. And Ellie Shurchek goes in to score as Minnesota continues to rumble and continues to bring absolute carnage on attack here.
That's great stuff. Again, we've been seeing this from them all day. If you have the resources in these lineouts, look, that's going to be another offload. Tight five forwards, they're feeling comfortable. That makes everybody attack. Everybody's a threat. That holds your defensive line. And, you know, that's going to be number 3 on the day for our favorite number 7 from Minnesota, because they're all our favorites. But and then another 2 from Bieber, who was also try scorer earlier today. But oh man, these are just great all-team tries. And it's really nice to see, you know, forwards popping to back, seeing flankers in the back line. You know, this tournament 10 years ago was crash, crash, pick and go, crash, crash. So it's just nice to see forwards and these coaches pushing these guys to do more than maybe what is might be expected of them at their own clubs or whatnot. So great coaching on both sides here. Seen a lot of good skills from both teams. Oh, Lance, I'm just so excited. We're going to have so much fun this weekend.
It's so much to talk about, so much good rugby happening as the Midwest seems to be a beacon of the growth here in the United States, especially and particularly on the women's side. The Chicago Lions taking 2 teams to championships or sevens championship years ago, and some of these teams in the Midwest really creating dents in this USA landscape. If we have a crashing run, Jordan Shannon spins and spins again, will now be brought down by one defender, but unfortunately found herself isolated. The ball is stolen and restolen by Jurczyk, and she will not be tackled. Multiple defenders grabbing, pulling on jerseys, but she will not go down for anyone, mushing players on her way to the ground. And Minnesota has so much forward momentum here. Can they get the ball out wide? Switch play back in the heel. Heel pushing and grinding forward. Multiple defenders unable to stop or slow her down. Leg drive to get inside the 5-meter line. And the forward momentum from Minnesota might yield points from him as Ginfield gets the offload away after being held up. Ruck is resourced and hands to get into space. That fin and fall into the try zone by Kylie Marlowe. And Kylie Marlowe, after an amazing bit of play and hands from the Avalar, excuse me, I'm so excited. It was so quick and so much build up to get points here as Minnesota is roaring forward here, Smarto.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to number 4 from Minnesota, Lauren Ganfield. She's been in every single one of every time I keep saying tight 5 forwards offloading the ball, 9 times out of 10, it has been the lock from the University of Minnesota, Lauren Ganfield. She's putting herself in because she's such a big player. She's sucking in her 2 defenders. She knows her job. My job is to suck in 2 defenders, and then I offload to somebody after I've created that gap. And it's been working great. Marlowe is now getting the sub, getting the tap out after, we've got 65 minutes about. Yes, 66 minutes done. So we're going to keep the subs and water rolling. But Minnesota is looking great. They have really gelled, from the first 10 minutes, to these last 10 minutes. But some of these kids, probably met today or yesterday. There's a good chance not everyone in this team can tell you the name of all of their teammates. And that's my other favorite part about All-Star Rugby.
You're welcome. Whenever you're ready.
And now as we prepare for the kickoff, Wisconsin continue to be put deeper and deeper into the waters as Minnesota continues to be the land of the lakes, submerging this Wisconsin defense with speed and power as they now looks like they found their spacing, and Young showing her experience, cutting through, moving through, one-handed offload to Herdman. Ball not going to hand, but Minnesota with a chance to keep ball, and they do, able to be resourced back as they continue to be pushed backwards. But now back to forward momentum, back into the chaos they go. Ruck taken care of, and wide pass to get it to space. Inside, outside move by Jurczyk. Could have been a great opportunity. And she could have almost got away, tripped up, and a turnover forced. And now Wisconsin continues to go forward. Not back 10, says the referee. So Wisconsin will get another penalty tap as we get around the 68th minute here. And the referee has laid out his marks. Yeah, Smarto, the substitutions are coming in as well.
Yeah, it looks like, I'm not sure. Sometimes tournaments like this have slightly different rules because that is Elisanti, who started the game but is coming back in. So I don't know if she's coming back in as a front row eligible sub or if they're playing like a rolling sub, or sometimes you can have an extended roster in tournaments like this. So we'd have to confirm that. But but it is important, sometimes it is, you do get that double tap after a prop. You think you turned your shift and they're like, nah, you got to go back in because you got a scrum or someone else is going to get hurt. So We got Santee back on the field. Hopefully that's enough of a rest to bring a little boom back to Wisconsin.
Yeah, they need a kick of energy as the ball is caught backwards. Referee says play on. And now Wisconsin with a chance to attack. Pick and go from Toretta, the try scorer, able to drive defenders backwards. And now the matchup of physicality from this Wisconsin side, but Minnesota pushes over on the counter ruck. And now they have an opportunity with the offense not set to play defense. And they get a chance to go around the corner, ball played with hands. And it looks like there's an inside pass there. Does she get it away? She does. The speedster, Pettis. Can she make it? Grabbed and almost brought down, but the leg drive continues to show as Bieber to Pettis and Pettis to 5 points. Amazing try from this Minnesota side. They are connecting and figuring it all out here, Smarto.
Yeah, just as this game is winding down, it almost seems like Minnesota's starting to speed up. You know, this game, they're getting this ball out fast, and great dish from Beaver to Pettis. We've said Pettis' name quite a few times, just hasn't really finished off. So glad to get the 5 officially to her after she's really done a lot of work for her team on both sides of the ball here.
And that conversion dead center is up, and it is good as Allie Pettis, who earlier injected so much speed into this offensive line, so much into this attack, and to finally get some points after a well-worked try from this Minnesota side is definitely warranted. She's shown speed in bunches early in that first half and showing it for 5 points here in the second. We're right around and just under 10 minutes left, Smarto. What are you telling this Wisconsin side who might have found themselves with almost insurmountable deficit to keep them locked into this fight here?
We've got 10 minutes to go, and you do have a difficult task ahead of you, but you do have to play again tomorrow. So you still want to work on your game plan because this isn't a one and done. So whatever your objectives are, you still need to be working towards those goals. So for this game, they're getting tired, you can tell, because they've played a lot of defense, and a part of that is a lot of this turnover play we've seen. So, like, you got 10 minutes. Work on your ball security. You know, still try to create those turnovers if you can. There's still lots of value to be gained in an experience like this, so no reason to give up just because, you know, you've kind of lost your edge as you were trying to close the deficit.
Yeah, and your check, after the offload from Bieber, your check continues to show so much speed, and Pettis unable to gather the ball cleanly, just the most marginal of knock-ons. But as we talk about the environment, as we talk about what this weekend means, this Thunderbird Cup, Minnesota is not done putting points on the board as they continue to roar forward and bring an absolute speed on offense and attack that has blown Wisconsin out of the water into this match here.
Yeah, and Minnesota as well. They do have a few more players who have more club experience. So that is a little bit higher than some of the Wisconsin players who is primarily college players with just a fewer. So that too is definitely going to play into that success for this weekend. Just more players used to playing faster, used to playing more physical rugby. So, you know, you have that trial first 15 minutes and you can hang on for a little bit, but that extra depth of experience from Minnesota kind of shows when you start really subbing and getting in everybody. But that's how those players learn, and that's like what the whole point of this tournament is. So this is pretty. You always want to win, but it's really like this is a learning training environment, and the stakes are really just about development.
And Shannon Jordan from Minnesota forcing a turnover. As again, Minnesota's defense is turning into offensive opportunities. As now they get the penalty and an opportunity to tap and attack. Backwards says the referee, but forwards later on. Offside says the referee. Off of that knock on. Now we are heading to a scrum. 6 minutes to go right around here in this U23 Minnesota versus Wisconsin. Local area rivalry as these states border each other, and it's just so much going on inside of this matchup. players showcasing on both sides. That's now the scrum being laid as Wisconsin has an opportunity to attack deep in their own end. They go one direction, then to the other. Ball played out wide. Now, Minnesota able to get the ball back after that kick.
Release.
Now on attack. With a chance to play it out to the outside edge. The wall, the purple wall, throughout the course of this match, really forcing Wisconsin to earn all their points. Big field with a chance. With a chance to stay counter rug, leaves the ball exposed. Avalar with the offload, and the ball continues to stay in play now with an opportunity to go. Now, Herdman sees the space, 2 hands on the ball, throws the dummy, and that left foot step to get to the middle of the field opens up the gap. And now Minnesota continues to open up the gap on the scoreboard. That try with leads us at 63-19. Look at the burst speed from Young. Once the ball was played again, there was so much space. 2 hands on the ball, forcing outside defenders to respect the pass. You just got to love what you're seeing from this Minnesota side. They have figured it out to work together throughout the course of this match.
Yeah, and Megan Young, wearing number 2 for Minnesota, has been a huge ball carrier today. Started in the front row, made it back to the 8th position, and has just been a threat with ball in hand. And has been dragging down defenders and just getting those punch meters forward to open up that space for the back line and everyone else for this train to just keep on rolling down the tracks.
And we are down to minimal time here in the Thunderbird Cup plate matchup between Minnesota and Wisconsin U23s. As Wisconsin continues to push and fight, Minnesota just putting it all together and in spurts. We are under 3 minutes left to go in this matchup.
Good, yes, thank you. Yep, we're good.
Ball is now retained by Wisconsin. They'll have a chance to put points on the board. Hands are quick. Played a bit backwards, but able to keep ball open. Ball in play. Referee is going to call diving over the ruck. As now Wisconsin charges forward. Bean not being dragged by one player. Refusing to go down. The ball is played out by a pail. And going back to an earlier penalty, referee is going to have to keep the whistle going. They might not have heard the whistle stop play. But going off the feet for the earlier penalty. As now Wisconsin continues to keep the ball with a chance to get points here.
Yeah, they wanted to keep playing, and it was all smiles, even though they were still in contact over on that far side of the field. But we are winding down, and Wisconsin has been going for this kick. Looks like we're going to have a new kicker here, or maybe we're going to keep it in. But yeah, we're going to run it in. We're going to try and get some more points on the board before this game is over.
That's the offload, swinging down with Santa, keeping the ball in play. On the top side of your screen, you see players fighting through. That was Lawrence refusing to go down, manipulating players, pushing players off for Carnell. Playing the ball from the jump and unable to find. They attack cleanly as now Minnesota has a scrum input. We are less than a minute and a half in this matchup. So much can be said about this Minnesota side if you look at the score line, but it doesn't show how competitive a lot of these Wisconsin players. Liv George showcasing herself with a few breaks, really bringing the momentum. Timms leading from the front. Consistent play from the scrum half. But it was just too much Minnesota throughout this match. As we now enter our final minute of this Thunderbird Cup match. Ball played in the back of the ruck. And they go immediately pick and go. Megan Young drives forward. Ball played out to the edge. Lauren Clark couldn't get that offload to hand, but ball still in play as Henson gathers and tries to keep it inside. They are right at that touch line on the far side of your screen. Ganfield again raising her hand because she has been in a lot of forward play throughout this matchup. Ball played in the ruck, says the referee. Clearly can be seen. That ball was clearly won by Minnesota. And with just under 30 seconds left, Minnesota continues to charge forward. The WER prop crashes to the line. Got a try earlier and now just showing she still has the energy for this match. Hill putting a shoulder into the defender. But still, another penalty off the feet, says the referee. We're in closing time. And Minnesota throws the ball out wide. That Finn puts your check in, and she continues to exclamate the game. That try with no time left on the clock, says the referee. And that's going to put an end to it. You got to love the forward momentum from this Minnesota side. They're taking advantage of all the penalties and cap off this match with an absolute racer of a try here, Smarto.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, once you have the pressure on somebody, you just can't ever take off the pedal. And, you know, that's a great way to end for Minnesota. You know, Maya Yurchek, that's getting a hat trick for them, setting up Bieber, who's been pretty consistent on these conversions, dotting down. Had a try, but tons of extra points for them off the foot as well today. And really, we saw a Minnesota team get better and better every minute of this 80, and a young Wisconsin team. The score doesn't really reflect because up to about minute 55, this was a 10-point, 12-point game, and then they just started to turn away, and then it gets really hard to stay close, you know, once you're really getting beat. But I don't know, Lance. I'm pretty pumped to see if this is the kind of rugby we're going to see all weekend.
So am I, and I'm looking forward to our next Thunderbird Cup match. Minnesota taking a 65-19 win over Wisconsin in the U23 division. My name is Lance, and on the microphone with me was Angela Smarto, representing Next Level Rugby, putting on this production. We'll be right back here with more action at the Thunderbird Cup.
Most girls are smart and strong and beautiful. Most girls work hard, go far, we are unstoppable. Most girls are fight to make every day. No two are the same. I wanna be like.
So actually, before I started playing rugby, I was just a cheerleader for my high school, and I was very shy, nervous, and being around teammates. Rugby is a very accepting sport. I wasn't embarrassed about my body or anything. People really welcome you and actually like take your strengths and weaknesses and work with you to like make you a better person and player.
You hit each other and then you're friends.
I really like the camaraderie of it, and like the game is just so physical and it's fun.
Definitely try it. Like maybe you don't think you're the strongest, but once you go out and like you hit someone, that adrenaline is so amazing.
Tell me about your experience with RCT so far.
Well, I think my experience can be best described as really fun and community bonding because I meet so many new people playing the sport I love.
I wrestle and I play football, and there's nothing like rugby. You know?
Yeah, everybody that I've ever met that tries rugby just comes to one practice has ended up liking it. And I asked her like what it was, and she said like full contact.